What's up, everybody? It's Grim from GTS Wrestling, and welcome to the best ever Joe Cronin's Monetize This World Heavyweight Champion, the video games collector, the game hunter, Casey is raw. And if you're not down with that, we got 3 words for you. Eat it, yeah!
What up, guys? Casey is raw again. Today's not really game hunting. I might look at some video games. Today's almost complete opposites. It's video game selling. The reason is I told some of you guys on a stream lately that my goal is to get the WWF, and it says WWF, World Heavyweight Title, not Wing Eagle, but Big Eagle. Not to me, I kind of like Big Eagle a little bit better than Wing Eagle, but Wing Eagle is still pretty damn cool. And if I have enough money, I'm going to try to go for the WCW United States Championship. But yeah, my goal is definitely just to get the WWF Championship. And I believe I pinpoint the year of this belt. The reason is the location I live in, and the location nearest WrestleMania, with the window what was left for the WWF initials. So I do believe this is the same WrestleMania and Access that I went to back in 2001. Because WrestleMania X7 was in Houston. Anywhere else, it was pretty kind of far to get a WrestleMania. I mean, it was always on the West Coast or on the East Coast. I think and one in Canada at the time. And the year prior, the year after, they went back to Canada the next year. But the one that was even closest, I would say between Chicago or was trying to think of the one in Indianapolis. But that's when they both had those during that time. That was with Wing Eagle belt. They didn't even have Big Eagle belt, much less the scratch logo. And then 2000, right after WrestleMania 18, is the year that they changed over to WWE initials. It's been 20 years since the WWE initials. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I went to house shows, SmackDowns, ECW SmackDown, and like I said, house shows as well, and they never carry a bunch of belts. They carry, like, every once in a while, the world belt, and maybe the Intercontinental belt, but they did not carry, like WrestleMania Access or the Superstore, while this year was, they merged it into both. So that's the only place. Maybe maybe some of the bigger pay-per-views with the shop, but I'm pretty sure I can pinpoint this to WrestleMania X7 Access. Because if you look at my most recent, the WrestleMania Access Superstore, where they have right in the middle of the convention, I would like to call it, or Access, they had a bunch of belts. They had two sides that were selling different belts. Some of them had most the same. There was a few different ones. So, yeah, that's why I believe it was that certain year and I believe when at Access that year is when they start officially selling the belts. That you can go and buy your own belt. You couldn't go around and without going somewhere and buy an expensive version of the belt. So my goal is, I got my NES in its box that I just picked up last week. I'll take one more picture of it and a bunch of controllers, and I'm going to sell them at the game store so I can make the most profit off of it. Because I'm selling a bunch of controllers that, one, I really don't need. I mean, right now, there's not like I need a ton of people. No, I don't have like a ton of people playing video games with me. It's not like back in the day, in the 90s, in the 80s, we had birthday parties with a bunch of our friends coming over, or a certain kind of party, and like you said, having all the friends over as well, and playing 2-player, 3 players, 4 players. Nowadays, everyone's just playing online together. You don't really need the beat, even though I don't think it's still cool to hear your buddy while you're playing, for me, Fortnite. But it's different. It's different with the people actually being there, but it's still okay when you're or even awesome when you're having your buddy on chat with you, but there's no substitute for your friends being right beside your side playing video games. There's no comparison to it, there's no, like I said, there's no substitute. That's to me is the best way. So, after I sell the console and those controllers, I could do this. I could turn around and sell a big box of Sega Genesis sports games that I cannot get rid of nowhere else. And Vintage Stock will take this shit and they'll get very, very little. And right now, anything's worth to nothing because it's been sitting in my trunk for months. So I'm ready to cash out on them. And if I only get one belt, I'm happy. I would love to get the United States belt as well. But, like I said, I'd be happy just with the WWF Big Eagle belt. I was meaning to go here a lot sooner. It's 3:30 in the afternoon, but I was so tired from the day prior that I fell asleep. Had my nephews came over around 10. And I laid down, was watching some YouTube. And next thing I know, I was out like a light for hours. So, it's amazing when there's a kid and the father. The kid's like, oh, let's run to get out of the way of the car. The adult's like, well, don't care. I'm not saying I'd kind of do the same thing but that's if some asshole, was doing that intentionally. But I am at the game store, so I'll take a quick picture, maybe a video of what I got, and hopefully I get enough here just to get the belt. Seeing the guys in a few. There's the NES in its box bag of controllers and 2 games, and a big box of Sega Genesis stuff. Alright guys, so for the box the box NES, the bunch of the controllers and the 2 games got me $160 in cash. I probably would have been damn near $200 in credit if I went for credit. But honestly, I'm trying to go for this belt. I bet they're kind of like shocked that I went with cash this time. See, to me, I know a lot of times if someone likes mainly kids or adults who have no idea about retail or how retail works or anything about video games. Like, I was okay. When they offered $160, I was pretty happy about that. I mean, maybe I wanted 2, but I probably would have got $200 in credit. But I was happy what I got. And I would love to go video game shopping right now, but I'm broke as like a motherfucker unless I just put all this into my wallet right now. But my next goal, my next objective is to go to the same vintage stock that has the belt and sell the big box of Sega Genesis games, sports games, to try to knock down that price even more. Just a little bit more. I mean, it's literally dead weight in the back of my car. There's no better way to call it. because I know the video game store wouldn't take this stuff. And, trying to think. Flea markets probably wouldn't take it because they're starting to wise up about not picking up the sports games. I mean, 10 years ago, they'll buy every little thing they can get. Especially between 8 and 10 years ago. Between, even 12 years ago, from 12 to 8 years ago, they'll pick up anything. I mean, even sooner, because I think the golden age of video game hunting that was more in my favor was honestly started before, like, the 2000s, like 98, when I was starting to collect this. But it was the golden ages, like in the early to mid to late, somewhere around there. I would say 08 and to 2015, maybe. It was the golden age of video game collecting, because a bunch of the video game collectors are finally being noticed, and mainly through YouTube. And that's how most of the public knows about this. A lot of times when you're young, like when I was young back in the 80s and 90s, you'll have the old system on one side, you'll have the new system right beside it, and then after a while that old system will be so outdated to the new system, you kind of throw that system into the back of the closet and you totally forget about it. And I have done that as a child until like in late 90s I started bringing everything back out, because I find even during the 90s it's like, oh, let's play some Atari. But I think everyone like me started get that itch about collecting video games. I always wanted something kind of like a library of something, because it's like a collection. You can go look around. At the time, I was thinking I was collecting wrestling DVDs mainly, or tapes from WWF. And that was my thing. I wish I had a picture of all the DVDs and tapes I had. I had WrestleMania collection between 1 to 14 in there. And I kept on able to, if you shuffle around just nice, just good enough, you can squeeze 15 in there in the box and have it shut completely. And then I started putting 16 on top of the with the rest of the WrestleMania, and then 17, same thing, then 18. So after 17, it was alright. I gotta start putting them on the side, and so I had them on the side, and top shelf was the WrestleMania tapes. And those WrestleMania tapes were my graduation gift. And those got watched so many times that I thought I finally got one above what people are going to eventually go to. Like, DVD's already in vogue or popular at the time. So I was thinking, it's like, I had a DVD recorder with a VHS player in there too. So I was starting dubbing a bunch of my WrestleMania tapes to DVD because a lot of them were starting to break down, because I had a tradition for every WrestleMania to watch every single WrestleMania up to the current one. Nowadays, if you try to do that, you probably had to take 2 months to do that. Well, we just literally just finished WrestleMania 38. That's even if you're doing one WrestleMania a day, that's over a month. That's over 1 week over a month. So, and that's if it's 31 days. So you would have 38 days of WrestleMania, and I guarantee it'll be about the same amount of time, because sometimes you'll watch 2 in a day, like on the weekend when nothing's happening. And then there'll probably be days you're getting sick of watching WrestleMania, so you'll take a day off from watching it. And to the point I was just done watching them, and as a tradition, because it's just, because it was till the later ones when I started really having fun, because the first one was okay, the second one was okay, third one was good to great, I mean, it was considered the best for years and years and years. Then 4 was okay, 5 was okay, 6 was pretty good, because the Ultimate Warrior was Hulk Hogan, with Hulk Warrior's best match, and his, with Hogan, go figure. I mean, how would you figure that's possible? Because Hogan was never a really good wrestler. I heard he did more moves in Japan. For some reason, he had more respect for wrestling in Japan. But, gosh. Just thinking of old times. And I used to have a small section of WCW tapes, and didn't have a lot. There used to be a drug warehouse that had a bunch of stuff, and one section actually had wrestling tapes, and they had some that was like, really, really old school wrestling, and I'm talking about probably WWF, or pre that, when they were, CWC. But, I picked up a couple tapes from them, and I think one of them had, it had a bunch of weird WWF tapes from the new generation and a little bit before. They showed where, the real first WWF ladder match ever happened between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Before it was Shawn Michaels and Razor at WrestleMania 10. The true first ladder match in the WWF. But it was old times. Good times. God, it brings back a lot of memories, man. But the shelf that I used to, not that I do have my NES games in their boxes, that's the shelving that I used for my wrestling tapes and DVDs. And when I moved, I eventually just left it behind. I moved on to a bookshelf back then, and I don't even have that bookshelf no more. But I used it to hold the consoles, and my old bed had all the games underneath in drawers. And that was cool, but then when I came back from Pennsylvania and I was running out of room quickly on my shelves, I already had 4 bookshelves, before the whole wall was covered of them. I added a 5th one. There's someone waving behind me. You don't even see it. But they're not even talking to me. Or waving at me. They're talking to someone to my left. Probably they know someone or something. But, oh my God. I just realized something. I knew something looked different. There was a Italian restaurant that recently, in this 5 years since I've been back, that we came here for a family event, and now that place been obviously been shut down because it's long gone. But they tore it down, and now it's going to be a gas station. Wow. But yeah, I'm about to be at the vintage dog with the belt. Like I said, I'm going to bring it, son of a bitch. Of course it turns yellow on me. So, I'm gonna try to lessen a little bit more of the blow with the box of Sega Genesis games. Because it's literally just weight in the back of my car. But it's not as bad. I used to have 2-3 consoles in this car that I had no idea what to do to get rid of them. Eventually I sold them to stores told them it's broken, but you could probably, I was like, hey, just give me whatever, because I know I'm not going to get full retail. Full price what you're planning to give before, it was broken. So, because I'd rather sell it off and someone do something with it than tossing it away. I don't believe in that, because I do have a Famicom disk drive that I could probably turn around and sell them, or just give them it, because it's literally sitting in the closet being parts. Because I decided one day try to, fix my Famicom disk drive. Because I had the belts. I figured, how hard could it be to put a fucking belt on? Don't do it. It eventually fell on the ground and broke a gear, but that was before I gave up on it. Alright, well, I'm at the vintage stock, so I'm gonna go sell some shit and get those belts. See ya. Well, guys, I just got out of vintage stock. Let me get out of here. Well, I sold those dog shit Sega Genesis games. Finally. And they were dog shit games. But, I knew I was going to get, like, next to nothing. I'd rather get them out my car than anything, but... Fuck. No, guys, it didn't work out as much as what I planned. I got the WWF Big Eagle belt now, man. Look at this guy. Trying to let a car drive by. Look at this thing. Badass. It's heavy too, man. I'm super happy. This is like the belt I wanted for years. And I was right on the year. It says 2001. It actually says it's considered a from Figures Toy Company. It's official licensed WWF product. And it says 2001 World Wrestling Federation Entertainment. So I was correct of the year. So I'm happy. So I tried to pull off like, oh, it didn't work out. I'm looking at it, it's not perfect, but it's actually heavier. It's probably the heaviest belt that I have in the collection now. It really is. For the fin plates, it's actually quite heavy. I wouldn't doubt this is actually 10 pounds. And I'm just amazed to have it. It's awesome. It's like, what sucks to find out looking at those big bars, those bars are separated by paint. That's the only thing that sucks. I wish it wasn't, but I'm not gonna complain. Mainly, all this was I remember when going to WWF WrestleMania Access. Yeah, my parents had me. I went up there, and they gave me $200 to go down to Houston. And I saw the belt literally for $200, but I was like, I can't do that. But I did spend all $200 in Houston. I did not have anything coming out of Houston. I'm extremely happy finally got this belt. And here's the kicker. I did get like $8 in trade with the big box of Sega Genesis games. The woman prepared me for the blow. I was like, I knew it wasn't worth it much. I know I'm getting pennies for each game. But I got $8 in credit to... And that $8 actually came... That pretty much topped what I needed. Actually, I had money came back after all the money that I spent. No, I mean all the stuff that I raised to get this. So I'm extremely happy. I really am, man. Especially it's the WWF version. Look, actually, I want to do something real quick. I had to stop for a second and take a picture so I can show it off to the Rose and a couple other guys. So I'm happy. I'm glad that I didn't have to use my card. I'd rather used all the cash that I had from raising funds to do it. So I'm happy about that. And I know some of the stuff I'll be paying off will be pretty much fixed from working late the last couple days. The champ is here. This is one of the belts I always wanted. Always wanted. The guy was like, oh, probably the gold is worth money. I'm like, I seriously doubt this is actual gold. I mean, yeah, I seriously doubt it's gold. It's probably gold leaf. Maybe. But I'm extremely happy that I finally got this belt. That I raised enough funds to get it. And like I said, it's definitely the heaviest belt in the collection right now. It's the prize. Like what the world heavyweight title was the prize possession for a while. This pretty much clips that. I guess they were the only makers for this belt at that time because this is not plastic. This is actual metal. It's not like the plastic the spinner belt that I got or the current WWE title that I have. This is actually metal. This is like the World Heavyweight title and the Intercontinental title that I got. But like I said, mainly the big main plate is heavy. The champ is here! The champ is here! I'll probably get someone pulls over to the side and say, I want that belt. Yeah, but the guy's like, like he told me that maybe the belt's worth more. Probably worth more because of the gold. I'm like, I seriously doubt that's actual gold. And if it's 10 pounds of gold, I just hit a jackpot. Let's just say that. Oh, there's actually writing in that. Huh. Love this belt, man. I always considered this be the true world title for years and years and years. Oh, well, when I get home, I'll take a long video picture or wherever. Not perfect. I mean, God, this thing 21 years old. There's going to be some flaws. I mean, there's one diamond missing right here. Or crystal. Little scuffs here and there, but this actually says WWF. And what's cool, the trim says WWF all over it. This does not have the 5th plate, or I believe it doesn't have the gold tip either. But that's okay. They're not, I mean, to people, to, what's it called, to the layman, they would have no idea what the 5th plate looked like and what the gold tip looks like on the belt. Well, I know because I know one of my belts has the gold tip, and it's probably the Intercontinental belt, because that also does have its 5th plate where it says WWE Intercontinental. This is like the same moment in high when I first got that WWE World Heavyweight title from Toys R Us, but the plates are plastic, but it's full size. And I thought that was the only belt I'll ever get. And honestly, this is the most expensive belt I bought in the collection. Prior to this, the most expensive belt I picked up was the one from Toys R Us. I paid $100. While the WWE, no, the World Heavyweight title, the one with it's big gold with the WWE logo in it, I paid $50 at vintage stock for that. They had no idea. So I guarantee you that's why it was just labeled for $50. They had no idea. And while the hardcore belt says WWE Hardcore Championship, that went priced for $150. Actually, now my shoulder's kind of hurting a little bit. Put this over here. Oh, I'm not exaggerating. It's hurting a little bit now. And I'm like, oh, all that way. I'm like, I don't know. It just started hurting a little bit. So, yeah, I'm extremely happy. I wish it was a little cheaper than $250, but the only reason is it was still there was because of the price. And maybe in a couple, 2-3 weeks, maybe I'll pick up the United States belt for $150. And I'll put a couple of the belts. Like I said, I always wanted this. I always wanted this belt. And I was, like I said, I was correct of the year. I mean, yeah, this could have been, like, later. But the time frame made it perfect while I was thinking, I guarantee you this came from Houston. Because at that time, they just bought WCW. And I guarantee you, they were probably selling their stock of belts, too. And it says Tig Toy Figure. They probably took over that contract from WCW. Because they changed WCW. Or they said they merged WCW. No, they bought WCW. Yeah, they eventually used Big Gold for a little bit before they replaced it with the scratch WWE logo on it. But yeah, this has been an interesting episode. It's not even, like I said, it's not game hunting. This is game selling. But even in this hobby, I mean, sometimes you turn around and sell games. And you know what? I heard the rumor that why Stone Cold wanted to make the Smoking Gold belt is because he was wearing Big Eagle and it cut him. And I can see why. It is pretty sharp on top and bottom. I can't wait to show this off in all of its glory for you guys in the few. So I am extremely happy about this. I can't wait to show it off and rub it in the Rose's nose. Just kidding. Just kidding, bro. But I'm sure he would love to look at it. And I was walking out and the kid asked if he can touch it. I'm like, yeah, you can. And what am I going to say? Nope, you can't touch it. He kind of, when he went to touch it, he went like handprint, and then I swear to God, kid went to claw it. But he didn't do anything to it, so if he's happy to let him touch it, then I'm happy to do it for him. If I wasn't wanting to run out of there, I'd probably even let him hold the belt. But I mean, what's the chances this kid was a wrestling fan? He probably had no idea what belt this is. I'm gonna take a guess he had no idea. I bet money. I pretty much would bet my belt on not only what company this was, two, he probably didn't know what era. And I can't blame him. He's a little kid. He was like less than preteen. So I would say 8 to 10 years old or less. So, he would have no idea about this belt. He just saw, ooh, shiny, it says champion on it. But I wasn't gonna say no to the kid. And like I said, if I wasn't running out of the store, I would let him hold it, you know. And I wish I kind of let him to, because, you know, give that kid a good memory. And I wish I had done that, but now thinking about it, what is he gonna do? Run out of the store? I caught up to him real quick and say, give me my belt. But yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, it says on the back, it says Figures Toy Store. So, but I bet that was their official belt maker at the time for reproduction of this. Oh, man, this is a beautiful belt. Beautiful belt. The plates look thin, but the belt is heavy, like I say. Now, I'm thinking there's some Italian actually on here. It says there's some wording that I didn't know it actually says on here before. But yeah, when I get home, I'll show you a lot closer. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. All right, bye. All right, guys, I just got home with the WWF Championship. Thing is so big, it's so hard to get it all in frame, but I guess all in its glory. The plates are a little thin, and you can see it says WWF on the trimming. I really like the lion holding the shield with the WWF. What sucks right here is actually painted, and I don't even know what that's supposed to say. Or that. Big Eagle. The WWF logo. With another line with a shield and with the white paint. I don't know if the white is coming off. Looks like white dicks. Trying to get whatever that says. I did not know. There it is. The only thing that I really hate is that missing that one gem, but it's cool that it has the WWF trimming all over the place. Doesn't have the fifth plate or the gold tip, but that's okay. And this is the other side. You see all the screws that's holding the belt in with all the snaps. And it says Figures Toy Company, but official license in the year 2001 from the World Wrestling Federation Entertainment. So I'd chosen the right year, and I believe this came from Houston, Texas, from WrestleMania Access. So I am extremely happy this is in the collection now, because this has been like the belt I consider the world title, because it screams world champion. And yeah, I kind of grew up watching this version anyways, so alright, thanks for watching. See you guys. Bye.